here are some traits that I can see that run through these three companies. And by the way, I'd love to hear from you. So on Twitter this week, if you like, at RBI Podcast, let me know any additional similarities, maybe some nuances, some subtleties that I'm bluntly going to miss that you see that can help us as investors, some traits that these companies share. So the first one I want to mention as I start my list is entertainment. Every one of these is in the entertainment business. Certainly, Netflix is really in command, I think, worldwide. It's by no means a dominant market share. We're talking about a very spread out market, but there's no clearer worldwide leader when it comes to movies and television shows than Netflix and where it is today. Similarly, Activision Blizzard with its properties, World of Warcraft. By the way, Warcraft is going to be a movie this summer in the theaters. It'll be interesting to see how that does. Call of Duty, Hearthstone more recently, lots of different entertainment properties. And then, of course, Amazon.com not only sells all of these products, but also contributes its own with Amazon Video, which you can use if you are an Amazon Prime member. And Amazon is investing a lot these days, as is Netflix, in the core creation of new entertainment. So the first thing that I see as I think about these three companies is they're in what I consider to be an outstanding, timeless industry. Entertainment. The second similarity shared by all of these three is that they are content producers. They're not just in the entertainment business, they are actively creating content, whether it's Netflix, having funded everything from big shows like House of Cards or much smaller, sometimes just one-off comedies with popular comics, but Netflix is clearly producing content. It wasn't always that way. It's only relatively recently that Netflix has even entered that market. Similarly, we know Amazon is doing the same thing, and then Activision Blizzard all the time is creating new video games. So number two, within a great industry, they are producers, they are content owners. The work that these companies are doing is building up an archived library of properties. A third similarity shared by all three of these is that they are branded properties. You recognize names like House of Cards for Netflix or Call of Duty when it comes to video games for Activision Blizzard. And so this is a really important thing. It's not just that you own content, it's that it's branded content that can work across transmedia. You know, one of the big trends that we've seen in the last 15 or 20 years, think of Marvel with its superheroes, think of The Lord of the Rings, is we've seen properties that started in one medium, comic books, all of a sudden go into other media, transmedia, across media, everything from movies to lunchboxes and lots of stuff in between. And that's the power of having branded properties, which is what all three of these companies, frankly, have and are continuing to develop. So that's an important third similarity. Here's a fourth one. All three of these companies are making lots of bets. So it's not just about a single big biotech drug and that biotech stock hanging on whether it gets FDA approval or not. These are not binary outcome companies. These are companies that are experienced taking risks, but they're doing it across a wide array of possibilities. And yes, some of Amazon's risks haven't worked out so well. For example, the Amazon phone, was it the Fire phone? I've almost already forgotten about it, but that didn't do so well. And certainly there are some clunkers out there. Ironically, for Netflix, The Ridiculous Six, which has gotten ridiculously bad ratings, is also the number one most watched movie in the history of Netflix. So things arguably, I don't know if we say that worked or did not. I guess we'd say it worked overall, but every one of these companies has had failures, will have failures in future, but the beauty of it is you're invested in companies that when they fail, they can rebound from that. They're not betting it all on black. Similarity number 5. Not only do these companies operate in the entertainment business as content producers of branded properties that make lots of bets, but I want to take that one notch further. I'm going to say that these companies do a darn good job with that. In other words, they bring joy to the lives of many. Whether you are a World of Warcraft longtime player or somebody who just enjoys being able to watch 24, all 9 seasons or whatever it is, binging on whatever you've watched in the last week or so, these companies, I think, they're certainly enhancing my life. I hope at least one of them is enhancing your life. And we love these businesses, and this runs up and down stocks that I pick in Rule Breakers and Stock Advisor, but especially the best ones. After all, here we are this week talking about the top 3 performers on the S&P 500 last year, and all of them do a really nice job bringing joy to the lives of many. And I think that's important to point out. Sometimes investing doesn't need to be that much more complicated than asking yourself, who's bringing value to the world out there? Who is adding value to your life? And then beyond the sample size of one that each of us represents, who is bringing joy to the lives of many? It's a fairly simple filter. It doesn't take a CFA or training in accounting or your ability to read financial statements. I do think that those things are valuable as well, but you can increase your own odds an awful lot by focusing on where real value is being added in the world.
As always, people on this program may have interest in the stocks they talk about, and the Motley Fool may have formal recommendations for or against. So don't buy or sell stocks based solely on what you hear. Learn more about rule breaker investing at rbi.fool.com.